Hello, let's be your cocktails. I'm your host Pierre Rare. Today we're making the Stone Cold Steve Austin Stone Cold Stunner. Now, if any of you are follow wrestling, guarantee some of you down the road you probably watched at least some wrestling. And if you haven't watched wrestling, you heard of Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold Steve Austin is one of the most iconic figures in all of WWE history. He is one of the pretty much he's a protagonist. He's an anti-hero. He could be your best friend one minute and then give you a stunner next. He tells you exactly how it is. He won't take no bull. He is the Texas Rattlesnake. He will strike at any moment when you least expect it. That's one of the things that people love so much about him. He's the perfect badass. He's somebody who will basically say, "Hey, I'm your best friend. I'll do this for you." Like even the whole thing with like Vince McMahon. He acts like he's his best friend. Next thing you know, stunner, and the whole Rock and Sock connection. Well, not the Rock and Sock, but the whole thing with like Mankind, stunner. The Rock, stunner. Everybody, stunner. Guarantee almost everybody in his time period that he was actually in the WWE, guarantee got a stunner sometime down the road. Then you had DDP, kind of had a variation called the Diamond's Edge. I forget the exact name what he called it, but it basically is a Stone Cold Stunner. But nobody has ever got the same respect, same notoriety as far as signature moves as the Stone Cold Stunner. Stone Cold is one of the best all-time ever figures in all WWE. Even better than Hogan, I think, because he's the most iconic. Hogan, yeah, he was a good guy, bad guy. Stone Cold, even as a bad guy, everybody loved him. When Hogan was a bad guy, everybody hated him. It's like, as a good guy, you kind of hate him because he's just too good. So basically, people like the bad guy. This is Stone Cold Stunner, but the one thing about this cocktail that I'm designing, if you haven't noticed by now, that's Everclear. 195% proof alcohol. 95% alcohol. Also, Moonshine. I recently got this, and I definitely want to use it. It's one of the best moonshines out there. He's a South guy, so you want to use some moonshine with that. Everclear. It's going to hit you in the ends when you least expect it. Then you also have your blue curacao and your simple syrup and your orange juice. One thing about these, it's going to help balance out the potency between these two. It's going to have such a mild flavor. You're not really going to taste this as much as you would normally think you would. And it's something that's going to creep up in the end just like the Stone Cold Stunner does. He could be your best friend. It could be the most sweetest cocktail in a sense. It could be something you taste like it's perfectly fine. You'll think, I'm not going to get drunk off this. Next thing you know, you're drunk. Just like the stunner hits you in the end. Let's show you exactly how this is made and why this definitely creeps up on you in the end. This is actually going to be a shake and strain into a highball. It's going to be flavorful, but definitely will show you exactly how it's done. It's going to be good. First thing I'll do is take your granddaddy, your big potent Everclear. I'll take about half ounce of that. You do not want to take much more than a half ounce. This will definitely burn you in the end. It's going to be very, very potent. So you take a half ounce of that, and you want to take a half ounce of your Moonshine. The one thing about the Climax Moonshine compared to other moonshines I've seen out there, which is kind of tastes like a vodka. This is a moonshine. There's no flavor to it. If you sit there, you water that down to like say 40, 30 proof, 30%, it's not really going to have much flavor still, even though it still is moonshine. This at 40, I believe it's 40%, 45% alcohol, 90 proof. You can taste the flavor in this. This is really good moonshine. This is authentic flavored moonshine compared to those kind of bland, over distilled, plain type moonshine. You want the flavorful moonshine. You want the flavor of moonshine, you're going to get it with that. So, definitely suggest the Climax Moonshine. I'm so glad when I got that. But then you want to take this blue curacao, because you want to kind of give that nice greenish color, so that's what the orange juice is going to come in handy. You want to take a ½ ounce blue curacao. Then to help balance out, obviously, the potency of the 150 of the Everclear, I'm going to take a ½ ounce simple syrup. Then 4 ounces of your orange juice. Give that a shake. And I also think the fact you're using 4 ounces of orange juice, your ratio of mixers to alcohol, it's favoring the mixer amount. That's one of the things that help bring that potency of the alcohol down. And that's what you want. You don't want to have an overpowering alcohol flavor in this cocktail. You're going to taste the alcohol regardless how you look at it, because it's Everclear. It's going to stand out. And there you have it. A Stone Cold Stunner. It's going to be very flavorful, very smooth, not very potent tasting. It's going to creep up in the end just like the Stunner is. But see exactly how it tastes. I tell you one thing now. First time I made this, when I made it originally on the show, I used Midnight Moon. Midnight Moon, it's a very kind of, I'm not knocking the brand. It's a pretty good brand. They have a lot of different flavored stuff. But one thing about Midnight Moon, the regular Moonshine, has a very bland flavor. It tastes like watered down Everclear. It's not a very strong moonshine flavor. You kind of get a hint of the corn base that you usually get with moonshines, but it's not very flavorful. It's kind of just like vodka with a corn base. It doesn't have that same characteristic, same profile you're getting with that Climax Moonshine. The Climax Moonshine definitely brings a lot of corn flavor in this cocktail. This is the first time ever trying it with a moonshine. Other than that, it's good. It's a really good flavor to it. The corn base blends very well with the citrus, surprisingly, because you're getting obviously citrus from that, and you're getting citrus from blue curacao, but you also get a lot of sweet balances of flavor to it. So it's a very flavorful cocktail. It's very unique. Depending on which moonshine you use, if you can get in the whole of the Climax Moonshine, their availability is so much more broad as it used to be. I forget the exact state to start out with, but it took forever. It took almost a year just to get to Jersey. But since I saw it as available in Jersey, I contacted my supplier. They ordered it. They put it on their file. Now I go in there the other day to buy the blue curacao because I know I was running low on the one. And what do I see on the shelf? Climax Moonshine. So if you don't see it in your shop, contact or talk to the guy who owns the shop. Talk to somebody who actually can do the ordering. If they can order it, they can bring it into the shop, and a lot of times when they bring it into the shop, it creates a SKU, and it's going to be allowing that company to actually supply this product, and this product is really good. I definitely, if you can, get it. Guaranteed right now, it's probably in your state. If you live more like around the California, the West Coast side, maybe not so much, but if you live East Coast, Central America, you're going to find it almost everywhere. It's definitely something, if you can get it, you probably can get it. And if your shop doesn't carry it, talk to them. They could probably get it. It's going to put in their system. And if they see how well the product goes and the popularity, they're going to bring more of that product in, allow more sales, allow more availability throughout most of the country. I definitely suggest contact your suppliers. Contact the Climax Moonshine site. Let them know that you're very interested in their product. Don't know the state you live in. If they can get to their city or state, it's something they're gonna look into. But it's definitely something worth looking into. It's a really good moonshine. I love this moonshine. It's one of the best moonshines out there. Definitely suggest it. But this cocktail in general, given the fact, not to take away from the fact that it's a really good cocktail using that moonshine, it uses Everclear. 95% alcohol. You don't taste it. I was sitting there drinking this. And other than the flavor from that moonshine, you taste no alcohol. Because it's such a minute amount of alcohol to mixer balance, but it's there. It's a very potent alcohol in there, but it's watered down. It's basically, not necessarily watered down, but it's mellowed out just enough by using the orange juice that you can't even notice it. But it's there. It will creep up on you. That's why it's called the Stunner. Definitely suggest you try it as a cocktail. If you can, go back to my Facebook page. Look at some of my other WWE cocktails I made. I made a Ted DiBiase. I made a Lex Luger Torture Rack, which is kind of interesting, which I've been thinking about actually doing on the show because it's something that's really unique. It's a lot of different flavor profiles. It's sour, it's bitter, it's sweet, it's no, kind of necessarily salty, but it's almost every flavor profile you could think of. And you use the Campari. That's definitely torture right there. Use Campari in anything, you're torturing yourself beyond all belief. But it's a very flavorful cocktail. I definitely suggest you try that out. This one, every other cocktail I have on there. It's a really good. This is definitely good. Definitely suggest you try it out. If you can get this with Climax Moonshine, try it. As I said in the past, I used it with the Midnight Moon. It was good. Either way, Midnight Moon, it's good. But that Climax Moonshine brings such a different flavor profile to this cocktail. It's like a whole new experience for me all over again, even though this is one of my classic cocktails. I definitely suggest you try this with Climax Moonshine. You will not be disappointed. And as always, definitely check us out on Facebook, Spirit Cocktails. Subscribe to our site. Submit, as I can't stress this enough, submit cocktails to us. I love to do your cocktails. I have plenty of different cocktails I designed on my site. This is one of them. But sometimes you can only design 500 cocktails plus and kind of run out of ideas. But I'll try very hard not to run out of ideas, but I definitely would love to see new submissions come in that you'll be able to see on the site. And just gives you some notoriety. Say, this is your cocktail on the site. But as always, drink responsibly. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to our channel. Visit our Patreon account. It's on Twitter. Submit recipes. Drink responsibly.